Hi there, this is Malay and welcome to my channel. In today's video, let's take a look at using file actions in Power Automate Desktop. Now, let me first show you the working directory. So I have the C drive, PAD, and then I have some sample files and folder. Okay, let's first check the action if file exists. When you drag and drop if file exists, you can actually validate and check whether the file exists or if it doesn't exist. So for an example, let's go for if the file doesn't exist. I'm just gonna go and give the same path, C drive PAD, and let's say that we're gonna go with sample test file.txt. So that's the file path that we're looking at, and the file path actually currently does not actually exist, right? So let me click on save and let me display a message. Let's put it right here. And in this case, I will just simply call it as a message, and the file does not exist. Okay, click on save. With that, what we can also do is we can create the file, but for now, let's just run and see. It will compare this path, which of course doesn't exist, and you can see the file does not exist. So with that, let's go and create a simple text file. So with this, what you can actually do is write text to a file. It will ask for the file path. You can store the file path also in the variable if you want. Let me go ahead and give the file path PAD sample file or sample temp file.txt, and then the text to write. So for now, I'm just going to put sample file content. You can also get the text from variable. Okay, if you want, you can even overwrite the file if it exists. If the file already exists, you can even append the content. Okay, so for now we know the file doesn't exist, so I'm just going to keep override the existing content. Click on save. Let's click run. It will check, get in, display the message, and then finally create the file. C drive PAD sample temp file.txt. Go ahead. You can see sample temp file, and let me open this. You can see sample file content. Okay, so that's the file exist and creating of the file. Let's see the other action now. We have copy files. So let's go ahead and copy the files. Let's delete this. Let's delete all of this, and let's start afresh with the copy files. Delete this. Let's just delete this and delete this. Okay, so let's drag and drop copy files. Now the way copy file works is we're going to be putting it the percentage opening and closing percentage, opening and closing bracket, and then we'll have to give the files into the single quotation. So it's going to be C drive PAD sample temp file.txt. Let me also grab one more file, give a comma, and again opening and closing single quotation, C drive PAD, and it's going to be sample 1.xls file. Okay, the destination folder is going to be C drive PAD and copy here, the one that you're looking at. The variable produce is copied file, and I'm okay with that. Click on save, hit run, and we should have two files copied into the copy here folder. There we have it. Let's go and click copy here, and you can see two files have successfully copied. So that is copy files. Now let's talk about move files. Let me go ahead and delete the copy files for now. Delete. Let's go and drag and drop move files. Files to move, again, you can use a similar approach which we just saw in the copy, but for now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with a single one. So again, the percentage, opening and closing bracket, single quote, and C drive PAD, and let's give sample 2 dot. So that's the Excel file. We will be moving this Excel file, and what that means is it will move to a destination folder, and then it will delete from the source. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a sample 2 here, which is not there in the copy here. So we will move the sample 2 inside copy here, and then sample 2 should be removed from this path. So let's go and put a destination folder, C drive PAD copy here. Okay, let's click on save, click run, and it is executed. So now you see we no longer have sample2. It should be moved to the copy here, and we now have sample2 here. So that is how move file works. Okay, now we are talking about the delete files. Okay, let's delete this. Let's talk about delete files. Well, it's that simple. The files that you would like to delete. Again, the similar approach. Opening and closing percentage, opening and closing bracket. You can go with the multiple files. I just go with a simple file, pad sample temp file.txt, which is not here, which is actually in the copy here. And what that means is we will be deleting this sample temp file from the copy here. Okay, let's click on save, click run, and that's it. Now we should not have that file here. So that's delete file or delete files. Okay, let's go ahead, delete this. Okay, so now let's take a look at rename files. Let's drag and drop, and you can see you can rename one or more files with this action. Okay, file to rename. If you have a specific file, you can specify the path, and then we have a different renaming scheme. You can set the new name, you can add some text to the name, you can remove some text, replace the text, change the extension, add the date time. Depending on what you select in the rename scheme, your option changes to configure, and you can also add some date time to it. So that is what we will take a look at. So before this, let's just cancel it for now, and let's use get files from the folder. So the way we're going to be doing this is, let's get the files in the folder, and I will go with pad. So it's going to retrieve all the files from the specific folder, and it will be stored into the files list. Click on save, and then let's iterate through each of the file here. So let's go for each loop. I'm drag and drop for each loop. Value to iterate, it's going to be the files, and each file is going to store in the current item. I'm okay with that, or let me just call it as the current file. That's better. Click on save, and now what we're going to be doing is we will rename the file, and we will append the date and time with that. So let's open the files action, and let's look at rename files. So the file to rename in this case is going to be the current file. That's the file that we want to rename, and let us append the date and time. So date time to add is the current date and time. We are okay with that. You want to add the date and time after the name or before the name. I'll keep it after the name. The separator is a space in case if we want. So let's keep a dash instead of a space. Date time format, I'm okay with that. If the file exists, you can override or do nothing. Just click on save, and let's click run. So it will retrieve all the files, and it will append the date and time. So it's doing its job. You can see what's happening here. Renamed files. If you click on it, you will see that the file has been renamed here. Let's go and check. So you can actually see all these files. You can see 0, 1, 2, it's a text file. The date and time stamp got appended. Similarly, for all the files that we have, the zip file, the Excel, right, the text file, all have now got the date and time appended, right? So that is how you can actually use the rename files and different options that you can choose from. Okay, now let me go and delete this. So let's delete this, delete the end, delete this get files in a folder, and let's go and read a text from the file. Let's pick up the file path. You can use this option if you would like to select the file path by browsing on this machine, or you can specify the variable as well. But in this case, I will simply go ahead and give a path, C drive pad, and this doc.txt. Okay, the variable produced is the file contents. I'm okay with that. Click on save, click run. It will read the file content, text file content specifically, and store it into the file contents. So you can see it's a sample file content. This content should be read from Power Automate Desktop. That was the content in the text file. Write text to a file is something which we already have seen in the beginning. So let's go and get the read from a CSV file. Okay, so let's drag and drop that. Now I do have a CSV file, so that CSV file also. So you have the number and some footnotes. Again, it's a sample CSV which I downloaded from the internet. So you do have two columns, number and footnote with the comma separated value. So let's see how do we read the CSV file. So I'm just going to go and specify the path over here. It's CSV and it's going to produce the CSV table. Click on save, click run, let it read the CSV file and it will store in the CSV table. So if you click on CSV table, you can see we have two columns, right? You can see it's a number and the footnote, and then we have 49 rows. So it was able to read the data. Okay. Now you must have observed that when we clicked on this, we had column 1 and column 2. We did not actually have a number and footnote as a column 1 and column 2, which ideally we should have. So what we can do is, if you double click on this and if you click on advanced, right, this one option that you can see is first line contains the column name. That's the case. So you select this, click on save and click run again. Let's see, now we should have the two columns actually as the real columns. So you can see number and the footnote. The other option is it's a comma separated value, but you can also have a separation of the values with some other parameter also. It's not always the comma, right? So you can have a predefined, which is comma, and you can also go with the custom. So in case if your file is separated with, let's say, a semicolon with a hyphen, for example, you can specify that instead of the default comma, right? So that's read from CSV file. And then you also have a write to the CSV file. Okay, so what we can do is we have read the CSV table, we already have it. Okay, now that's the variable to write. So which is the variable that we want to write? We want to write the CSV table and the file path. Where would you like to write it? So I'm going to write it in the C drive PAD sample CSV file to write.csv. Okay, and also open the advanced. You can specify include the column names. If the file exists, override the existing content. If you have a custom separator, you can use it. For now, it's a default. Click save, click run, and now we should have the file created. So let me double click on this. Let's wait for that to open, and we can see now we have number, footnote as a column, and then all the values which was there in the previous CSV, because now we read the content from CSV and also have added the CSV content to the new file. Now let's take a look at get file path part. Now what that means is it will produce a different variables from a specific path. So let's go ahead and give one path here. Let's just say that I have a file called sample2.xlsx. Okay, it's the Excel file that we have it here. So what will happen, let's click on save, click on run, and it will give a different parts of this path. So what does it give you? It gives you a root path, directory, file name without extension, and the file extension. So you can see the root path was of course C. The file name no extension was sample2. The file name is sample2.xlsx. The file extension is the xlsx, and the directory is the C drive PA. So you can see it actually retrieves the directory type of the folder. So you can see its full name, parent, root path, right? So it retrieves all these properties as well. You can see file count, right? So there's a lot that you can get from a get specific file path part. So if you like to extract different information from the path of the file, you can use get file path part. So I hope this simple example helped you to understand various file actions.